What's up, y'all? It is your girl, Sarah from Sarah's Styles here. In today's video, I am going to show you items that sold for over $50 on Poshmark and eBay. But I'm going to put a little spin on it. I sell thrifted and I sell new tag liquidation, and I'm constantly asked what sells better or told, hey, it's easy to make, $10,000 a month selling on these platforms when you're selling liquidation. I'm also going to show you how thrifted performs for me compared to liquidation new tag pallets. So let's jump right into it. All right, this chart that we are looking at, all of my strategies are data-driven strategies, and I give you guys the tools to be able to look at your stuff as well, because what works for me, what I have access to, is going to work differently for you. So this is 3 charts that I have on the sales and trends dashboard. The link for more information on those, so you have access to these tools as well, is down below. So this is looking at my different sourcing places, thrift stores versus pallets. I'm looking right here at the chart in the middle. And if you want to look at my thrift store, so I source at a couple different thrift stores. Here at the top, my average sale price is $28. My average sale price down here is $40. And then if you compare those to pallets, my average sale price, $17, $14, $26. So my average sale price for thrift store items is actually higher than new with tags liquidation. And that's because when you buy liquidation, you can't pick out exactly what you want. I do manifested, which means that I do have a spreadsheet before I purchase, and I know everything that's in it, but they're not just going to give me all really good items. They just cherry pick exactly what I want when I am out thrifting so that I have a higher average sale price. But there's one other thing that I want you guys to look at too, is your sell-through rate. So those of you who are new to my channel, I will pop up a chart right here. Your sell-through rate is going to be on average, how many items have, not on average, how many items. Your sell-through rate is out of how many items you have, how many items have sold. 100% would mean that you have sold 100% of the items that you have purchased. This is a metric that is very important to look at. If you're selling a lot of one item simply because you have a lot of that item, you could have a lot of really stale inventory, and you could be continuing to buy items that aren't actually selling well for you. So sell-through rate is a really important metric that I look at here on this channel. It's always something that I'm talking about. So my sell-through rate for thrift stores compared to liquidation pallets, this is just 1 month that I'm looking at here. My thrift store sell-through rate is $9 up here, or 9%. So 9% of the items that I have purchased have sold in this month from thrift stores, and 12% of the items that I've purchased have sold this month in this month. And if you want to look at that compared to my pallets or my liquidation, 23%, 26%, 14%. So my sell-through rate is higher for my liquidation purchases, which means that I am selling more of what I am purchasing. I'm also purchasing a lot more liquidation. When you buy liquidation, you're buying 400 or 500 items at a time. So I'm hoping, this is telling me good news. My sell-through rate is high. If I'm buying 500 items at a time, I need to be moving those. That is volume selling for me. I need to be moving those. So my sell-through rate is higher, but my average sale price is actually lower. And that makes sense too, because I'm cherry picking. I'm buying things that, back here I have a Todd's purse that is, probably going to sell for $100. That's going to not sell as quickly as items that have a lower average sale price. So for me, I do liquidation and I do thrifted items to kind of diversify a little bit, to give me long haul or long tail items, things that are going to take a little bit longer to sell, but are going to sell higher. Those are going to be thrift store items for me. And then my liquidation is going to kind of keep me a base level sell-through items. I'm going to keep the volume going with this liquidation, but I may not be getting as high of sell-through rates, as high of average sale price. Sorry. Things aren't necessarily all selling as high. There's no right way to do this. You have to do what works for you and follow your numbers. Before we get into the actual items, I'm going to share 10 items that sold from the thrift store for over $50. And I'm going to share 10 items that sold from my liquidation pallet for over $50 in the past month. Before we get into that, I'm kind of messing around with some backgrounds on my new videos. Let me know down below, do you guys prefer to see my workspace? Do you like to see, these are This is all stuff that needs to be listed right now. Do you like to see me in my workspace, or is it a little too cluttered and you'd prefer to see, something pretty in the background, maybe a couple succulents and a nice piece of artwork, not so cluttered in my actual workspace? So let me know those down below. If you like data-driven strategies, how to make more money based off of your numbers, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the like. Actual items that sold for me for over $50 on Poshmark and eBay. 10 of them are from Liquidation Pallets, new with tags. 10 of them are from the thrift store. You guys are going to start to notice a trend though. Let me know in the link in the notes down below if you notice the trend. So this sold for $75 on eBay. It is a thrifted Coach leather tote bag. Coach is one of my top performing brands. These are Born. So Born is kind of a boring brand, but I like it. I'm in Colorado. I see it pretty often. Boots, these were in really good shape. These actually sold very quickly too. So if I was doing a video on what sells quick and high, these sold within a week or two, I think $64. These are thrifted as well. So you can find thrifted items out there. It depends on where you live. And this is why my strategies aren't going to work for everyone. I teach you how to figure out what works for you. But I have access to good thrifting. These are current Elliott. These are from a liquidation pallet, new with tags. I do struggle to move current Elliott that is thrifted. So I rarely pick it up, but it does. I have had some liquidation pallets with it in it, and it does seem to move that way. That is eBay. This is, sorry guys, I have to scroll down. The North Face continues to be a top brand for me, whether it is new with tags liquidation or from the thrift store. I'm in Colorado. I see the North Face, Patagonia, Columbia, all of that stuff, activewear type brands, because I am in Colorado. And that's where it depends on where you're at, on what you have access to and what brands work for you. But the North Face, this obviously sold a little bit higher than it would have if it was not new with tags, but this is from a liquidation pallet as well. This is Michael Kors $80 purse. This is the thrift store. Let me know if you guys are starting to notice a trend on what sells high for me from the thrift store. And it's also something that I have not yet to purchase new with tags, as they tend to be really high upfront costs. This is the thrift store, but it's not something I actually picked up. I have someone in Colorado that thrifts, and when he has too much stuff to list, or he's like, I don't really want to list this, we'll kind of work out a deal and I'll buy it from him. So these are from a thrift store. I didn't personally thrift them from a thrift store, but they are from a thrift store here in Colorado. These are Birkenstocks. If y'all are resellers, Birkenstocks tend to do well. These actually sold full price within like 2 days of listing, and those are thrifted items. This is Uggs. This is thrifted as well. And this is something, if you're a little nervous about eBay, you'll notice the majority of my sales I'm showing you are eBay. I am a very heavy seller on eBay compared to Poshmark. I think last month it was a little over $8,000 I sold on eBay compared to like $1,000 on Poshmark. eBay is working better for me, and I can link some videos at the end of this about why that is. But this is what's interesting about these, if you're new to eBay or you're scared or timid, I have returns. This was a return. It sold 2 days after it got returned to me and it got relisted. It sold again, and it actually sold, I think, higher than it originally has sold. So, returns are going to sell. If someone bought it the first time, someone's likely going to want it the second time. And eBay makes it pretty easy to send back the return and then have it relisted. They do all of that automated. You press a couple buttons. These are Michael Kors purse. This was a thrifted item. It did sell on a sale, $59. Some of these, are you guys noticing a trend with what sells high for me from thrifted items? This is also why I look at my data and I see what categories work well for me on thrifted items. And when I go outsourcing, I hit up purses. If you guys are noticing, purses sell high for me from thrifted items, as well as jeans. Shoes was in there as well. Jeans do not sell high for me from the thrift store, but the sell-through rate is really high. And I'll show you how I know that. So if you look at this is, again, is the Sarah Styles sales and trends dashboard. And if you scroll up here, there is a chart for my top categories. And you can see my shoes, my sell-through rate for shoes is 13%. This is a monthly sell-through rate. So that's a fairly decent sell-through rate for me compared to yourself. Always $35 average sale price though. You can see bags up here. Average sale price for bags. What I'm looking at is just thrifted items right now. I have it filtered just to thrifted items. But you can see my bags here. Hold on. Not clicking for me. Let me click out and try again. There we go. My bags here, average sale price for bags is $60. Those are all thrifted items. I have yet to purchase liquidation bags. Like I said, they usually have a really high price. But my jeans, so my average sale price for jeans from the thrift store is a little bit lower, $29 average sale price. However, it is my highest sell-through rate. I sell the most jeans out of what I have. I'm not selling the most jeans because I have the most jeans available. That means that I would have a lot of stale inventory that's not selling. My sell-through rate, 20% of my jeans that I have on hand sold last month. And if you look at the whole year, it's even higher. So some of the jeans did not hit this list from the thrift store because their average sale price is lower, but they're just continually to sell for me. It's kind of a fast flip or a guaranteed buy for me. This is a NWT tags, the North Face, $161. I did not hate that. NWT tags, like I said, liquidation, but the North Face is going to sell. It's not going to sell as high if it's from the thrift store because it's not NWT tags, but the North Face continues to be one of my high revenue performing, whether it's the thrift store or it is the liquidation pallets. Rag and Bone, these are, NWT tag jeans. This is probably not very surprising to you. I rarely find Rag and Bone at the thrift store to flip, so I can't tell you how it compares. I'm going to venture to say the NWT tags is going to sell significantly higher and sell through. This is Nike. Nike is a good performer for me, whether it is NWT tags or it is from the thrift store, as long as it's a more recent. And I think this, unless it's vintage, right? So you have vintage stuff, and then you have like the last year or two are things that I will buy from Nike from the thrift store. NWT tags obviously is going to sell, and this was a plus size as well, so it did not hang around for too long. This is the Mother. So here's a Poshmark. Yay, Poshmark did make it in there. The Mother jeans. These are NWT tag from the Pallet as well. Columbia. So Columbia as well. Like I said, I'm in Colorado. Columbia continues to be a top performer for me, whether it's the thrift store or whether it is from a liquidation pallet. Obviously, a liquidation pallet is going to sell higher because it is NWT tags. When I'm thrifting Columbia, I tend to only pick up shoes, like boots and jackets, because those tend to sell at a higher price point. But any Columbia, as long as it's not tore up, has sold. The sell-through rate is going to be there if you don't mind taking a little bit lower of a price point. Rag and Bone. Again, here's another Rag and Bone from the liquidation palette. The North Face, you guys are probably starting to notice some trends on what sells high for me from these brands. Splendid. Splendid is up there because it is a jacket. I've noticed some of the Splendid stuff. I got a lot of Splendid tops in my last palette a couple times ago, and I wasn't really sure how they would do. Thrifted Splendid has never done well for me, but the NWT tags, because they're, in the last season-ish, the tops have, the sell-through rate for the tops is actually pretty good. It's like a $15 average sale price, so not the $63, but it is. I do not pick it up from the thrift store though, so there is some discrepancy there. Coach, are you guys picking up on a trend here? Things from the thrift store that sell high for me, shoes and purses. When I go out thrifting, I do this intentionally. When I go out thrifting, I've followed my data over the years. And if I'm going to spend my time, I spend it wisely. And I know shoes and bags is what gives me the highest average sale price. Sometimes the purses will have a longer day on hand. You have to wait for that right person to have a purse. And I don't mind that, but I don't want my entire business model to be around items that take a long time to sell. It's completely fine. There's people that do that. For me, I like having a little bit of volume from the liquidation palette and then a little bit of these, hey, I'll sit around and wait for that right person to buy this Coach bag. Ding, ding, ding. Another Coach bag as well. That was from a thrift store. This is a Marc Jacobs from a thrift store, $132 sale. Don't mind that. And then my last one is Michael Kors from a thrift store, sold for $95. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you did like this video, make sure to, or YouTube thinks that you guys will also like this video. Here is a playlist of other What Sold videos from me, and then make sure to subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you liked this video.